FNATIC, the most decorated Tier 1 team in Valorant history, dominating multiple championships while fielding rosters oozing with Hall of Fame talent. This dynasty was built for greatness and seemed unstoppable, winning back-to-back titles and holding one of the best records ever. Everyone thought that these titans didn't bleed. But this year, they failed to make Masters Madrid. Why? Who stopped this star-studded team from playing on the global stage? Well, let me introduce you to Karmine Corp. With only one loss, these underdogs climbed their way up from the bottom of everyone's power rankings and have crowned themselves the kings of EMEA. Their mind-boggling comps, extreme cohesion, and out-of-this-world anti-strats each proved the doubters wrong, earning their spots on this throne. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the team that smothered FNATIC's flame. So who are Karmine Corp? This team sucked eggs last year, and all of a sudden they're this good? I mean, how do we know they're not lucky? Well, good question, old me. There's actually a few requirements that separate a good team from the greats, weeding out the frauds. And throughout this match, I'm going to prove to you that Karmine Corp checks each box and deserves to be respected as one of the top teams in the world. Especially with a comp like this, you have to be good to whip this out against FNATIC. Their pistol begins in a 1-1-3 spread, but these two have their head on a swivel, ready to contest whatever part of the map FNATIC decides to take in their 4-1 default. FNATIC initiates their engagement by smoking mail and prioritizing vents by launching a Skybird deep. But because FNATIC didn't start with ramp, the defense are ready to push back.
They face FNATIC. A bit of contact. Oh dear. No. Don't try. That was... You did a little bit of chip damage, you got all ahead of yourself, you got all excited. Boaster, are you chasing this? This is really dangerous. FNATIC
seized.
What are they doing? FNATIC needs to be so careful here. Magnum didn't know the damage he's done. Maybe just
Karmine know that teams that run Sky are going to take space with their birds. They tell you if someone's there or not, and are great to fight with. But her flashes don't last as long as a recon, or Haunt does. Meaning there's a small window where Martine and Magnum can pop out from vents and contest this default, taking Durka off guard. Plus, they started the round up against this wall so that they dodge a bird and stun if the offense went up ramp. So no matter where FNATIC defaulted, Karmine were ready to contest by exploiting a weakness in FNATIC's comp, checking the first box off this list. And FNATIC tried to run down this trade. Breach's stun was delayed since the bird didn't go caca, and Magnum seized just in time to prevent any equalizers. Now the offense are starving for a kill. Alphair wide swings heaven, Boaster smokes off stairs for extra pressure. This forces out a counter smoke from Tamazi, cutting heaven in half. But the defense are pretty happy with themselves. Each defender has fallen back, ready to play retake on B or anchor down behind this site smoke on A. And this bad boy is about to get put to the test as FNATIC have decided to leave Sky in mid to create extra pressure as the bulk of the offense keep heading towards A. The attackers creep closer, Boaster re-smoke stairs, and Leo lets his Trailblazer loose through heaven. But again, Karmine don't care. Let FNATIC waste all this utility. They aren't budging. The offense continued to sneak, past no one, through a main, up ramp, and Sky has pivoted towards vents. And as soon as Boaster paranoias for Leo to come up, the offense turned towards site.
bit worrying. Shin not really deterred yet. 15 seconds, spike on the way. Now there's a problem because Shin's still on the back line and he hasn't been right out of place. Luckily, Chronicle is nuts at this game, so he should be able to get him a plant. Leo gonna catch anyone trying to look towards heaven.
They're pushing.
Who's close? Oh my god, Magnum is right on them! And that is not a plant! That's not a plant for Leo! He can't do anything! There's nothing to be done here! He just has to sit back and watch as the defuse comes in right under his nose! He's just had to sit there and watch KC!
Both teams' plans almost worked. Site smokes like this one provide you cover and allow you to isolate your duels, breaking up the offensive spacing or buy yourself time for rotates. Shin got one, and Martine tried to swing through the smoke off this second engagement, but Chronicle is just built different. Then because Karmine's plan was to anchor down A and stall for their teammates, this made these players the Flood. Their job is to rotate over quick and rush into site while their anchors buy them time with the smoke that's hard to clear. But this game plan clouded Narrate's mind and exposed himself to vents. Then Magnum hit some nice shots, winning the round for KC, as the spike wasn't planted for heaven. So, it was this first blood and solid recognition of weaknesses that nerfed FNATIC's side hit and ultimately won Karmine Corp the pistol. And now keep in mind, FNATIC are the best of the best. Whatever Karmine can do, they can do. Maybe even better. Now, after Martin hogged all of the ecos last round, he's one off his dimensional drift, but he isn't playing for this defender-sided orb. Instead, him and Omen have a solid cross on A, Raze has the best gun in the game in Heaven, and with their double smokes, Astra is holding on to B. And FNATIC are starting in a similar default to what they showed on Pistol, only this time, Cypher flings both cages on A to apply a bit of pressure, similar to how Viper lurks up main, but in mid, they use their Trailblazer instead of a Sky Flash to clear out vents, not wanting to get punished by the same hole they fell into before. Add a fault line for added pressure, and FNATIC have vents. But there's one issue with using their only drone for this default. They don't have anything else to clear out this judge. A gun that crumbles to hard info. But for the next 30 seconds, FNATIC start to torture Yoru in the most brutal, inhumane way possible by waiting. The one trick that all Yoru mains hate is when teams play slow. Their gate crashes don't last forever, and once they spoil, he has to throw them away. And if you take away Yoru's gate crashes, he becomes Phoenix, but worse. So the longer FNATIC wait and abuse Karmine's weakness, the higher chance they have to win. Now, after an eternity, the offense decide to poke their heads into Heaven, but they still don't have a dog.
Could be an issue. Yeah, Narrate has to show his hand there. Couldn't have been handled by Magnum, so that kind of shuts the door a little on Heaven for now.
FNATIC do not want to run into that meat grinder and turn tail towards vents. But this is your second gate crash, and it's been a while since he's thrown it. This orb can expire any second.
Yeah, is the main thing. And if Narrate can get there in time.
Good flash, and Narrate absolutely good, but he couldn't quite make it work. Martin still with the trade out, and they keep that vent pressure safe. It gives him time to look towards ramp. This is an isolated fight.
FNATIC's counter worked. Martin's gate crash died of old age, and he still tried to make the best of a bad situation. And Narrate knew that there was no way the offense were going to challenge the judge. So as soon as it went quiet, he repositioned himself into A Heaven, hoping to fly by the attackers alongside Yoru's flashes. Similar to how an op will shoot in one spot and hurry over to another, expecting the offense to rotate, the same goes for the judge. This weapon is still broken. But Durka hit a nice shot, and Alfayer traded Martin, who could have gotten out if he wanted. But how many can Omen get?
Martin gives them a chance to decide, but have they checked on Tomasi? No, now they know, but can he do any more? He's surrounded, he's got problems up top, but they've got 10 seconds. FNATIC are running short on time here. They've got to get a move on, and Magnum wants to stop him. 8 seconds, where's the plant? It's fallen back into the hands of Chronicle. He has to get this down, and they're closing the gap. Chronicle, this has to be everything! Oh! What a bailout! He needs another! Oh, he's gonna get another!
Hola! Do you know how we could buff these useless stuns? Should we remove their crosshairs? Scramble their keybinds? Or how about not allow players to land headshots?
But seriously, guys, I don't know how frustrating a round like this must feel. Granted, their spacing wasn't perfect, but come on. Whatever. Both teams are exploiting each other's weaknesses, though. This is what Valorant looks like when played at its highest level. Last round, Karmine Corp didn't really want your result, not because it's bad, actually I think it needs to be nerfed to 8 orbs, but they were saving it for a stupidly creative play on the all-important first full buy. Both team setups look the same, but trust me, this ult changes everything.
Now the woods just yet though. They need more. They gotta keep finding this. Martin's going hunting. He's after you, Alpha. Run,
What?
boy, run. The paranoia was
That's
from
awesome.
so far away.
You tell me, what other agent in the game can chase Cypher all the way to spawn like Queso chasing a chicken sandwich? Check this off from one of the anti-fraud requirements. Coming up with never-before-seen plays like this is what you see the best of the best do. Karmine Corp wasted no time by immediately activating your result, teleporting across main, and arming a paranoia ready to blast anyone Yoru spots. And had the offense been here, the defense had a failsafe in the form of Astra's Nebula. But wait, there's more. In the pre-round, Yoru didn't just throw his gate crash into spawn, but he purposely sent it all the way across the globe and almost into B. Martin understands that by pushing out aggressively like this, the offense is likely to take space elsewhere in response to losing so much. But with this teleport, he was ready for that too. Just like we saw in Pistol Round, Karmine Corp had every option covered no matter what FNATIC did. So what did they do? Well, Martin was just deep in their spawn and nobody heard him teleport out. To FNATIC, he could still be here. So the offense spend another 30 seconds clearing out spawn while the defense try to sell that they're pushed up in this area with this smoke. There's no way the offense are still here. They'd be giving us a chance to trade. Thought so. Now, once FNATIC has cleared these potential threats, Boaster starts to call out their next win condition. The offense gather into the defensive smoke. FNATIC covers the cross and flash ramp, and after running it up and clearing it out, Breach now feels safe to grab his last ult point. Now once the defense notice that Breach's ult has blown up, they start to shift, knowing what's coming next.
I can Breach ult, okay?
Yeah.
And I can flash the heaven.
Can nade elbow.
I think they're playing.
You ready?
Yeah.
Flashing now.
Naded. Okay, anyways.
I'm flashing Kevin.
Could be one more side,
Flashing Kevin one more
push.
time.
Nice.
Come on, one.
Heaven 2.
I'm gonna plant safe plan.
I got Q on heaven.
What a bounce back from FNATIC. Karmine knew this hit was coming and even had their paint shells and sight smoke ready to go. But Durka got 2, and all of that attention that the offense was grabbing allowed Boaster to snag one in heaven and get out. Despite this innovative play we saw Karmine Corp open the round with, they end up having to save. Guys, we need to have a talk. There have been a lot of you bombarding the comment section, asking me if I'm ever going to do coaching. And I would love to, but there's also a lot of you who watch my videos. Like a lot. So I came up with the next best thing. I started a Patreon. By becoming a Brain Bud, you'll unlock a ton of bonus exclusive Teets content. I'm talking map-specific agent tier lists, my pick'ems and Q&A videos, access to Discord channels where you can talk directly to me, permission to join in on breakdowns that I do live in my server, and a lot more. But my favorite, and I think best feature, is access to my collection of handmade duos playbooks, each of which have been designed by yours truly and are full of VCT level plays that you and your duo can abuse in your ranked games for free RR. I literally walk you through each step of the play and explain to you what to do with each piece of your utility and how to maximize its value. It's like having me in your ear live during ranked. So if you want to support me, these expensive ass videos, and have an advantage over your opponents, go check out my Patreon. I've created all this brand new extra content and I'd love for you to check it out. Please, I'm begging. That loss has pushed Karmine onto a save, with only 2 rifles compared to FNATIC's 5. But if you want to be the best, you need to know how to make the best out of a bad situation. They're starting in a 1-3-1 formation where the rifles are taking hyper-aggressive duels in mid, while their anchors stall out for as long as possible. Now after getting embarrassed last round, FNATIC have PTSD and want to make sure that that can't happen again, as they're all playing back, waiting for the defense to show their hand. Tamazi takes B main with a smoke, Alphair takes A main with a cam and some cages. Martine creeps out mid, waits a second behind this box, and decides to push deeper with Raze watching his back. He makes his way behind cardboard, but FNATIC still haven't moved an inch. They want the defense to show. Eventually, Leo decides to Trailblazer up ramp to find a crumb of information and apply some pressure, but that gets cancelled by Magnum's Haunt. And in response to losing A and Omen backing off towards site, narrate Roombas down mid to try and set Martine up. That gets shot from sewer. But Jimmy, wake up! It's really important that FNATIC are playing this slow. Remember, Yoru's biggest weakness is time. Because right as Breach is about to peek for market, Martine is forced to teleport. Otherwise, he's throwing one of only 2 of Karmine Corp's rifles away. But just because he's out, that doesn't mean he's down. These 2 duelists know they have to make a play, or their teammates are just going to get run over.
Yeah, I kind of like that they almost tried to bait that it was narrate there, but there was still going to be Martine close. Oh my god! Look at the damage, look at Durka!
Karmine have lessened FNATIC's advantage with just a Prowler and a decoy, but the offense still have the upper hand. The job isn't done. As soon as this 3-person push was spotted, Alphair knew that he had a favorable duel on A. So he popped his ramp cage isolating sight, and he spots a jump spotting Astra. But that's all he can find, for now. This deathball is still grouped up and are now repositioning towards A after showing their hand in mid. There's no shot Cypher takes on all 3 on his own.
But again, this is look at this hunting squad. They're sending out after Alpha. He's gonna be feeling so uncomfortable. He felt the timing just right though. Credit to Alpha for that internal clock, right?
Just as the defense peaked ramp, Cypher popped his cam spotting the death ball. Karmine got figured out again, so they're repositioning again. By staying clumped up like this, they should be able to run over whatever attackers are in the space they head towards. They sprint through spawn, back to be heaven. But FNATIC, despite seeing a bulk of the defense A, are still taking their time, which they don't have a lot of.
Timing left. Tomasi's going to check this. It is when Durka's on the money, but they know now. The plan's been seen. The players are nearby. Karmine Corp looking to get dangerous. Narrate's going to find Durka. Here we go. How much more? Martine comes online.
This consistent proactiveness and coordination has put Karmine Corp in the driver's seat, despite only starting with 2 rifles. When you're down on an eco like this, it is so important that you group up whatever firepower you have and move around the map. Especially without a sentinel, this active and synchronized movement is going to give you a solid idea of where the offense are headed next. No one's mid? Let's go check A. Not A, they gotta be B. And when you do find the attackers, this clump of weapons can usually surprise and overwhelm them like we saw here. Now, had Karmine Corp just sat back and let FNATIC have whatever they wanted, these pistols would have gotten trampled. Being able to convert rounds that started like this into ones like these is what defines championship potential. Now, being at a disadvantage, Leo plants on a raptor as Boaster holds heaven, and Karmine Corp flashes for the Prowler, initiating their retake.
KC closing the gap! It's gonna be on Leo, a 1v3, this is just unthinkable again, Shin!
FNATIC take a timeout to stop the bleeding. Team, listen up. Oh, wait a second. Isn't that Gambit's coach? Guys, we're Karmine Corp must have another type of read, similar to one we saw in Pistol. Durka has a showstopper online, and FNATIC have been playing at a snail's pace all game. So the defense have 4 players on A, expecting a tempo change. But nope, FNATIC are committed to their slow install anti-Yoru game plan. Boaster starts the round by smoking vents, walking into main, and Alphayer flinging a couple more lurk cages. But this A stack is broken as soon as Leo flashes through the spot mid-smoke and Magnum's haunt doesn't get contested. Their read was wrong, and A-rush isn't coming. Now as the defense scrambles back into a normal looking setup, Boaster wants to bait out some util. But is he expecting Martine in this wonky angle?
Let's see though, we're not there yet, the line has not been drawn. Madrid is still on the cards if FNATIC can close. Martine gonna feel that first.
Martine is devastated that he couldn't hit this shot. But why were FNATIC just dumping flashes and a smoke if they weren't going to use them? Well, with the rocket launcher, you can sacrifice a bit of utility to try and bait some out from the defense before your actual hit. But hey, even though Martine missed, Karmine are okay with giving up all this space. Even if FNATIC take B, they have this purple giant to retake with. B main is secure, so Chronicle backs up to rip a fault line off the dog's contact as it gallops through heaven, with Durka close behind. He flies in, clears sight for his team, and it's quiet. Too quiet. So Boaster calls out, "Karmine are playing retake. Don't play back sight, you bozos. Get up! Get up! Come on!"
Careful,
No boxing, no
Astra
boxing, no
ulti
boxing.
retake. We're gonna play
Yeah,
push the
play in
CT.
No,
I wanna play
in
to
front
fight
of the wall.
this.
Yeah, we could plan for heaven.
I wanna
We can
play
go
to fight
triple
this
lurk
too.
too.
They have Astro. I don't know what they'll do.
They're
Coming
reaching
to-
heaven, reaching heaven.
Standing, standing. Bad flash. I'm covering city.
Heaven dead. Coming
City,
city,
city
city,
down.
city.
One more dinked.
Dead, dead, dead.
I'm
I'm
flashing,
in front of you.
Flashing too. He's city.
City.
I'm with you guys.
Close right, close right.
You're alone.
Low. 1 HP. Just hold. He's going to save. Nice, guys. I'll play.
Again, FNATIC are tried and true vets. Everything that Karmine does, they can do too. After spotting Yoru teleport away from this initial duel, and sight being emptier than a random main's head, there's just no way Karmine let them have this sight so easily. Boaster saw what ults the defense had, noticed the Cosmic Divide, and had his team counter it by pushing. What Astra's ult does best is in the name, Divide. It breaks up crossfires and separates you from the rest of your team. But by pushing in front of it like this and taking the fight to the defenders, you overload them and never allow them to have a proper retake. Almost all of Astra's utility was wasted, and the rest of it got cancelled out from the fault line and paint shells FNATIC saved because of this showstopper. FNATIC, just like Karmine Corp did on Pistol, recognized the counter and abused it for a huge round win. Boaster's gotta be packing some heat.
See that judge coming out, I mean maybe not the end of the world here, but Boaster.
Hey.
Well, actually, I think he just has a galaxy brain instead. Because every round of this game, Karmine hasn't used a single piece of utility to take main except for a smoke that blooms way too late. I mean, one time they used a star, but he'd see this before the barrier dropped. Plus, remember, FNATIC have been starting every round slow. A peak like this is something Tamazi wasn't ready for. Plus, he had Chronicle backing him up with a fault line just in case things went south. So, while this peak looks ballsy, this swing was well thought out. But for Karmine Corp, this is horrible. They just lost the lifeblood of their team. Martine walks down mid, peeking into sewer. But his time is up and has to teleport. Desperate to find the equalizer, Yoru, Astra, and Raze group up to death ball. Huh? Oh, FNATIC have their neural theft. Alphayer started A and is booking it over to B, ready to ult this body. Karmine are screwed. As soon as this hat pings, they'll know B is weak. Cypher's head goes bald, and Karmine start to rotate, predicting what's coming next. Magnum needs to buy them time.
One player on the B side. FNATIC instantly. Okay, let's take this on.
Are they out?
1, 2, blood.
Yeah, B split, guys. B split. B split.
B split.
Let's go for CT, guys. Flood out CT.
They're out.
One more side. Default. Follow CT. Nice. One default.
Wait,
chill.
I have ult. I'm blind. I'm holding heaven. Heaven dead.
Nice. Last main.
Magnum did great to play Dance Dance Revolution, dodging all of this utility. And he knew that he had to stall FNATIC so his teammates could come and flood. His Nightfall, Prowler, Seize, all of this deafened and distracted the attackers, allowing him to run up and use Alfear's cage against them, isolating his duels. But the reason why people cage like this is so that you can scramble the defense's crosshairs as you can come out from any direction. This is why a lot of TikTok coaches say your smoke should be flush with the wall if you're the defense. But what those frauds don't realize is that these smokes can give your site anchors cover. Only this time, it was in the form of the offense's cage, and it cost them big time. Boaster might have found a hole in Karmine's defenses. With last round's dry swing, he started to realize that B might be the Achilles heel against this team's comp. So in their 4-1 and his From the Shadows active, they're doing it again. Now Karmine Corp are ready to fight mid with 3 here, while Asher and Omen are playing back, ready to retake. Boaster slides into B main again, but Tamazi teleports so that FNATIC hear the sound cue, threatening that he could have crossed. Had the offense not pushed main, from the outside, it would have looked like this room is being contested, especially with this initial star. They didn't think Boaster had the balls to do that again, but FNATIC have made their way in. Pause a second, realize that Omen isn't here, and everyone else moves forward and prep their util. Boaster smokes heaven, teleports backside, giving any potential defenders an extra choke point to worry about, and then we see a dog, Aftershock, Paranoia, FNATIC have the site, and our Karmine are already here.
I see player. After that, I'm nice. One main. Flash.
Sky's out.
Right side, orange. 3v3. I'm chilling. Carmine.
Mid was never contested, allowing the defenders to rotate over in an instant and flood. Fade prowlered and dropped hell. Yoru flashed out, and Raze went soaring. Boaster traded Fade, making it a 3 versus 3. He smokes mid-site and teleports away to set up a crossfire with his teammates, but the rest of Karmine have taken their foot off the gas, waiting for Tamazi's dark cover and Shin's last star to recharge. Him and Martine go spawn, while Tamazi double checks mid for a flank, and once both boxes are checked, they ult for info.
Tamazi having a little look, trying to set these guys up.
Here.
Allow them to work forward.
Backside. I'm only pillar. One should be backside. Wait, I smoke, guys. I'm only backside. It's bad plan. Just backside. I'm knifing. Taking it. Come on me.
One enemy remaining.
Shin just stuck the spike? I mean, it makes sense. The spike wasn't planted for backside. And when you smoke the spike and tap, the offense is forced to swing into you, as you could be sticking it like Shin was here. His teammates used the pressure that he was generating to perfection. And with that, Karmine check off the last box on my anti-fraud list. This team is the real deal. I mean, FNATIC are great too, but not playing up when 2 smokes players are still alive? Are they getting tilted? FNATIC have their backs against the wall. They need to step up now and not let their emotions get to them. I mean, we've seen them make comebacks like this before. It's winnable. They've reverted back to their 3-2 dog stun default, while the defense once again have both duelists ready to contest.
That's all you can focus on at this point, because they know it. You can feel it in the air, something is wrong, and Martine, he's taken down Durka! Frag by frag!
Narrate did awesome to bait for Martine with this Boombot and Phantom Spray. And again, one of the Raging can tuck behind this box. Anyone else is getting traded. But this is not the round FNATIC need to stop checking corners in. And without their entry, what do they do now? Well, Karmine Corp know what's next. Again, they're continually being active around the map. Fade and Yoru leave vents, head towards ramp, Fade prowlers. It doesn't tag anything. A's clear for the time being, but Karmine just gave up vents. And despite being up numbers, the defense still need to know where the offense are headed since they don't have a sentinel to hold territory for them. But jumping back into vents is a death trap. There's only one safe way Yoru could get info. He sends his last gatecrasher to spawn, hops into his dimensional drift to scout out the remaining attackers, and he spots 1, 2, 3 members of FNATIC, but where's Cypher? Well, every round this half, Cypher has started towards A, threatening he could lurk up behind his cages. So, odds are, B is butt naked. Yoru essentially used a budget neural theft to give his team all the info they needed. Fade drops, heads that way, and confidently peeks into attacker spawn. With all of this free info, Karmine Corp now know that an A hit is coming. Astra moves into site to brace for impact, and her teammates shift through spawn, ready to help her out. FNATIC contact as close as possible before starting their execute.
Close. Outside. Nothing close.
How many?
I'm gonna to retreat.
Test
Back that.
They're on side, guys.
Let's come CT.
One elbow, Gerd.
We can flash out.
Skilling elbow. Go help him, help him.
Side. Chill. 5v4. Come pick main.
3, 2. Nothing. He wants on.
Now hold on, Astra didn't get baited. It's just that her team didn't feel safe to run through this one way, especially when they had no idea where FNATIC were. They opted to wish Astra the best of luck and wait for their initiator to make her way through mid, clearing potential lurks, and Martina narrate pinch heaven with Magnum creeping through vents. But Boaster gets spammed. I mean, when you're sitting around waiting for a retake, why not spam more of your ammo? I mean, you're not going to use it all anyways. This lucky kill has put Karmine up, and now it's up to them to punch their ticket to Madrid.
Jump to Kevin.
Last 100.
These guys are the real deal. Much better than that trash old roster they had. Remember these guys? They were clowns.